friends? Do we have any friends? Pity you didn't know when you started your game that I was playing too. There's no way out. Thought you could get away. There's no way out. Slip up one of these days.
Yo, peeps. What's everybody doing? How's it going? Good to see you. I am still trying to figure out this damn setup and lighting situation. Thank God I don't have to tear it down anymore every week because I still don't know that I love what I have going on, but the lighting looks okay, I think, at least. So that's good. Um, yeah, that wig. We're gonna talk about that wig. You believe it. So, hey guys, I'm Curly. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. This is my little show called D&B Q&A. Basically, I talk to people that I met through drum and bass on Twitch. We talk about drum and bass. We talk about stuff that's not drum and bass. We just kind of see where the conversation takes us. I stream on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central and on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central. In my About page, you can find a list of previous guests and upcoming guests. So, yeah, check that out. If this is not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. I see so many people that I love in this chat right now. You guys are the best. You have made me feel so at home here. And you make this stream possible. Sure, I might have the channel and I talk to people on the camera, but if you didn't come, there would be no reason on earth for guests to come. So you make the stream possible, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. So yeah, I guess I haven't always wanted to shout out people in the chat, but since you guys are here early, I think you should get a reward for that. And I'll say your name. So, hey, John Tetley, good to see you. Baker Boy, thank you so much. Guys, I met Baker Boy through Mr. Sketty's Discord. And if you are not following Mr. Sketty and you produce music or you want to produce music, he is a wonderful stream. He has a really great way of teaching and explaining things. Um, so yeah, definitely follow him. Um, but yeah, all of you UK peeps, you're hardcore for even being here right now. So, I appreciate that, but please get your sleep. Also, the VOD will be up. Um, love how many Canadians are here tonight. Gooey French Toast, Cupcake, yeah, coolest mom on Twitch DMB, Darth Liquid, Namzi G, Cycloptimus Prime, my girl, React, love you so much. Neuro, who else is here? Oh, T-Bone. Yes, T-Bone, I love it. Let me see if I can find the quote to put up here because I loved it. I loved it so much. Um, uh, can you ask your guest if he minds that I always mispronounce his name as Beat Specific Guru? So my guest tonight is Beats Pacific Guru, and I'm really excited to have him here. Um, he is a ton of fun. He is from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia in Canada, and so glad to have him. So glad that he agreed to come on the stream. But real quick, before I bring him in here, let's talk about a couple of things. So one, it is April, and in just a few weeks, I will be celebrating my 46th birthday. Woohoo! But to do that, I am having a fundraiser. So I just put the links up in the chat, but they will also be coming through the scroll. Um, Basically, what we're doing is raising money for two charities that help people living with mental illness or people that love and care for those living with mental illness. In the US, the charity that I've chosen is NAMI. And for the UK, I have chosen an organization called Mind. Um, I didn't want to just keep it in the US, and the UK is like the country where the second largest part of my audience comes from. So that seemed like a good way to do it. Um, and any Twitch money, so bits, subs, whatever, for March and April are going to be donated to these charities. But those links in the chat will take you to my Tiltify pages, one for NAMI and one for Mind. You can pick whichever one you want. Any funds that you donate there go directly to the charities. I was actually just reading today because I felt like an idiot that I didn't know already, but Tiltify, what they said was that their cut basically works out to be like 3 to 4%. And it varies depending on how much support the organization needs or wants from them for sort of their interface with them. But your money will go a lot further if you donate directly through there. Um, Twitch takes about 50%, which is totally fine. They totally deserve to take that. They do so much work. But if you want your money to have more power, Tiltify is definitely a way to do it. And Tiltify does not come through me. It goes directly to the charity. I never touch it. I just see who donates. So thank you for that. Some of you have already donated, and I am a real jerk that I don't have that list of people in front of me. But don't worry, you're going to be getting shouted. Forgive me. Thank you so much for the cheer. I really appreciate that. Guys, if you're not following, forgive me, 1134. He is a great follow. By the way, you guys can all shout each other out. Exclamation point SO. By all means, do it. Honestly, everyone follow everyone. There is so much talent in this community. At any hour of the day, you can find someone awesome to listen to. So, hey, Static Quo, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you finally made it. I appreciate you. Um, oh my gosh, and the cheer. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a lot. Um, thank you so much for those 100 bits. Um, uh, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So in other exciting news, I finally have merch. So have yourself a link. There you go. All proceeds for the month of April for merch are going to go straight to Nami in Mind as well. Oh my God, Hype Train, Meta, come on. Oh, Hype Train is close. Why do they even tell me that? Because then I tell you, and then it's a thing. Stupid Twitch. Um, anyway, thanks for the cheer, Meta. I really appreciate that. But pre-hype, exactly. This is the moment before the hype. Um, it's an anticipatory hype. Um, so yeah, I have merch and I'm super excited about it. So I am doing this merch through Spreadshirt. I tried Teespring and I ordered 3 shirts. 2 of the 3 were trash. So I'm not doing shirts through Teespring. But the samples that I did order from Spreadshirt look great. So here is an example of Mad Love shirt. Basically, excuse me, basically the merch is the emotes. So everyone seems to like the emotes. So hey, that's cool, right? So, oh, this one is not an emote though. This one is the famous all caps karaoke that somehow you guys don't hate me for. Um, somehow you find it endearing or comical or something. And then this one, of course, the roller. Um, and basically all the emotes. So even some that are just in the BTTV extension. Now, what Teespring does do very well is stickers. So I have not set it up yet. I will have the link, but yes, gooey French toast. Sing It is also one of the emotes that's going to be on the merch. Oh, hype train! Woohoo! React. Thank you so much for the cheer. You guys, you're crazy. You're nuts. You're nuts. But I'm so excited because all of this money is going to great causes. So yeah, what Teespring does well is die cut stickers. So just to show you an example, check that bad boy out. I mean, it's big, it's shiny, it's like really nice quality vinyl. I think you could stick it on your car and it would survive. A little roller one. And then these ones I was so excited about. I put them on my iPad case. So obviously no one but me is going to have the curly roller one cuz you know, I'm curly roller. But I I hate Teespring. Their site I find very difficult to navigate, but soon I will have it set up so that you can only buy stickers from them because I don't want anyone to accidentally buy a shirt from them and get trash. So as soon as I set that up, they will be there. Um, I am setting the price on the stickers to where I don't make any money. So basically, if you want them, cool. If you don't want them, that's cool too. But just in case. Oh shoot, Static, you handmade graffiti stickers? Wow. Handmade stickers are insanely impressive to me. But anyway, holy crap, we spent a lot of time talking about me. Um, uh, so yeah, let's talk about my guest. So from lovely, beautiful Victoria, BC, Canada, I have with me tonight Beat Specific Guru. Beat Specific Guru spends all kinds of music, primarily, though, at least on Twitch, what you're going to hear from him is reggae and drum and bass. He also is the live in manservant to a beautiful white dog named Bronson. So let's bring him in and have a chat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I approve of this look. I
Yep.
absolutely approve of this. I was hoping this would happen. Look at that. Ah,
Just for
it's
Darth.
got, like,
Just,
this is like a Joe Dirt moment, you know?
yeah,
Like it's kind of a combo of like Joe Dirt with like a Farrah Fawcett thing happening on top.
I know.
It also reminds me a little bit of Hedwig. Have you seen Hedwig and the Angry Inch?
Yeah.
It totally reminds me of Hedwig for some reason. I mean, obviously you don't have the wings on the side, but every time you wear it, I think of Hedwig. So, yeah. Darth Liquid finally got it. Live-in manservant. Yes. Well, you know, you have a dog, Darth Liquid. You know how it is. I mean, yeah. Now uh, uh, you finally have a camera for Bronson, right?
I had one before, but I always blocked it because of where it was in the
Okay.
studio here. So I
Okay.
finally changed the angle of it. So now it's just dedicated to him specifically.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
you guys with dogs, this is the wave of the future.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
absolutely the wave of the future. I just noticed your t-shirt, even though we talked this just a few minutes ago. Support your local junglist. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. So, obviously, Twitch community, right?
Mhm.
The vast majority of DJs all of us listen to are we're not ignoring the wig
No
react.
one's
We were
you
just talking
you
about the wig,
can't
bruh.
ignore this. You
You
cannot
can't
ignore the
ignore it.
wig.
There's probably a delay. I know I have a pretty significant delay
Yeah.
when I'm watching a stream. So yes, no, that wig cannot be ignored. How did the wig come about before we go into the local junglist? How did the wig come about?
I am going to take it off because it is giving me a rash on
Hot.
the back of my neck.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it actually brings out the red in my neck. Unfortunately, that red is a rash. No, Bronson's here. He's coming to check out the wig now. Honestly, it was for Darth's birthday, and I was like, you know what? There's nothing that says happy birthday like a man singing the Marilyn Monroe version of Happy Birthday. So I
How did
kind
I
of just
miss that? I can't believe I missed that.
it's still up on my I'm pretty sure it's up on my page or in my clip somewhere at least.
I'm gonna have to find that.
Yeah, and I full out sung Happy Birthday in the sexy Marilyn voice to Darth.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and ever since
I am
then I
into
can't
that.
get rid of the wig now. So it's it
Is
lives.
it's a channel point redemption now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I unfortunately.
I you might want to reconsider that until you get, that whole rash situation sorted out.
That's
I'm
the
worried you might be
problem with it.
allergic. Yeah, I'm worried you might be allergic to the glue or the lace or something.
No, I think it's just like it's old and it's been around.
Oh,
It's raved, it's partied, it's
okay.
it's
Okay.
nappy. I figure that the way I'm going to retire it is making it into dreadlocks on screen one day.
There you go. So you did not procure this wig just for his birthday. You just debuted it on Twitch for Darth Liquid's birthday.
Yeah, and now it's as much a
Nice.
part of my show as my show is.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Love
funny
it.
how things like that happen on Twitch.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so back to your shirt. Support your
Mhm.
local junglist. So anybody that has had a local scene knows the, shall we say, frustration of having trouble getting a crowd out when it's a locals lineup versus when you bring a big headliner in, right?
Yeah.
Even though everybody in their scene can say that they have people in their scene who are unknown to the rest of the world who are as talented as, many, if all, not all of the big, the big DJs, whatever.
Yeah.
So here on Twitch, right? Like, I don't know about you, but it's weird because like I have access to listen to a lot of really, big DJs, and I spend the vast majority of my time not listening to big DJs.
Yeah, I'm often the same way.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I love some of these DJs that are on Twitch and are big, but for some reason I'm just continually drawn to wait, you know what? I think we talked about this.
Yep.
Continually drawn into, the smaller, like I hate to say that, but the non-largely famous people.
Mhm.
Um uh do you think that maybe this whole Twitch experience has like changed maybe a larger perception about local DJs?
I think in a way it has. I think it's equalized a lot of things for a lot of people. It's kind of, it's changed the playing field, right? Like
Mhm.
before when it was in clubs, it was in clubs. Now,
Right.
this is a whole new platform for everybody. So it's kind of a lot of the people that came out first and started doing Twitch. They get a better following than some of these
Right.
other big guys who have been producing for years or DJing for years or both.
Right. Right.
And, it's personally, I think it's fucking great. I think it's awesome to see that. Once again, like you said, you don't want to use the word smaller DJs, but unfortunately,
Right.
that's kind of what it is. It's,
Right.
they're not as well known as your
Right.
DJ Markeys, your John B's. But
Right.
now you see, like, you know, and No Use for Anger is a great example. You'll have, you
Yes.
know, John Beta or John B dropping into him,
Yep.
rating them and stuff. Like,
Give
you know,
giving him dub plates.
equalization. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that equalization, and it's super cool to me to see.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Okay, let's just be honest. I never would have seen you DJ if it
Right?
wasn't for Twitch.
Yeah.
That just that would never have happened. Um, all of these people in the chat that are DJs never would have seen them play, never would have heard of them, never would have known about them. And what do we always say? I mean, we're almost like flipping broken records. Like, we can't apparently stop saying how amazingly talented this community is, how full of,
Yeah.
amazing folks there is. And all of these guys were like pretty much only known in their local area.
Yeah, it's true. Like Meta Pattern's a great example. He kills it.
Yes.
I've yet to
Yes.
see DJ Galleon, but I'm told I
Same.
have to watch. Sleazy Listening. There are a couple
Mhm.
great people out of Kimberly that they supported me for years and years and years. Yeah, L Double, like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's you know, and like
I was there. I was there when L Double got his 100th follower, like on his first stream.
that's
I mean,
crazy.
think about that.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I was
Yeah.
just saying, yeah, it's crazy how it's brought us all together,
Hmm.
And now
Okay.
your local junglist is not necessarily your local junglist. It's however far your computer can reach.
Well, yeah, like local has a completely different, meaning now, right?
Yeah.
Baker boy, thanks so much for being here. Have a good sleep. Appreciate you at 1:20 in the morning in the UK.
Oh, it's
Um,
dedicated.
very dedicated, hardcore. And that's after I critiqued a tune for him and was afraid he would be mad, but he was super cool. Like, because I have opinions, man.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but uh, uh, so let's talk about Canada. So, holy crap, Canada is massive on Twitch,
Mhm.
like massive. So, how many of these people did you know before like the Twitch explosion of 2020?
A lot of them I knew, as far as like hanging out or knew like personally.
Hmm.
I'd only met Darth before at Connect. It was, I think, or at least he told me that's what happened, and I was like, no way, let's get out of here. I was having a fun time at that festival, let's say. So I don't remember a lot of it, but apparently that's where I met Darth, and yeah, it's definitely brought a lot of like Clint from E Town junglists. I used to go and watch him when I was just a baby raver. way back in the 90s. And,
Nice.
you know, I never actually had spoken to him. And now we talk semi-regularly, you know, and like a lot of these people, Sleazy Listening, I've known for years. They used to bring me out to Kimberley all the time to play for them. Vice versa, we'd try and bring them into Calgary to play for us when we could, you know. So, well, it's super spread out. A lot of us knew each other, but yeah.
Like you guys are like a full contingency now. I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Now, Distinct is from Calgary too, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
Yep.
And you got your start in Calgary, but you're in Victoria now, right?
Yeah, I was
Did I hear that right?
born and raised in Calgary, yeah.
Okay. So where did you find this magical thing called drum and bass or jungle? It was probably called jungle when you found it.
Yeah. Well, when I first found it, it was I was lucky enough to come across Raga Jungle, and
Yes.
that just blew my fucking mind. There's no other way to put it. I was like, I'd listened to like the Daft Punk and Jamiroquai and all those guys, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I like electronic music. I'd gone to one rave, and it was actually the one rave a year where we actually got a drum and bass headliner. I think that year it was Kenny Ken, if I'm not correct.
Nice.
And it didn't really register to me at that time. Once again, first rave, and I partook, let's say.
Yes. You had the full experience.
I had the full experience. But then, yeah, later I was at home and I was searching around on the internet back in, the 90s when it was really a pain in the ass to find anything worthwhile.
Yes.
And I stumbled across this Toronto mixtape site, and I still remember the name of this mix. It was DJ Show Nuff, Nuff Love, I think it was called, and it was straight up Raga Jungle. I clicked on it, not knowing what it was, just wanted to hear it, and I was just like, "What the fuck? This is nuts!" And then I couldn't find that sound anywhere. It was just, it didn't exist in Little Prairie, Calgary. It did not happen. And then one night my buddy said, "Oh, let's go to this place. It's called Dub at the Pub." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. Let's go check it out." So go down there, and on one side it was like roots reggae and dance hall kind of stuff. And then on the other side it was the harder dance hall, the more reggaeton vibes. And then at 12 o'clock it switched over, and all of a sudden it was Reggae Jungle, and I was just like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And I was like running around like, where do I find more of this music? And sure enough, I got in with those guys and kind of got to experience a lot more of the Raga Jungle and stuff. But it was really different in Calgary. Like,
yeah.
When I don't know about you, but when I started partying, it wasn't like you were going to a drum and bass party. You weren't going to a trance party. You were going to a party and there was music.
Yes.
And they would contour the night around that.
Yes.
So you didn't really get to just say, "Oh, I'm just going for drum and bass." If you did, then most of the time you spent the night in the weird little locker room that stunk like old jock straps.
What year was this?
That would have been 99 into probably about 2003, 2004.
Okay.
I think that was when our bylaw ended up going through in Calgary, which of course changed everything.
Okay. Tell me about this bylaw. I don't know about it. Or if I do, I've forgotten. It happens.
Yeah, I think it was around that time that most places got the bylaw. It was in Calgary, they called it the extended dance event bylaw, so that it wasn't a attack on raves.
In name.
Yeah. Essentially what it was any event with music that doesn't stop, that runs later than 2 a.m. can only have a set amount of people, has to have X amount of police on site, not security, police, ambulance, all this kind of stuff. And it was just like, it wasn't that they were stopping it, it was that they were making it too hard to continue. You
Right.
know, like over regulating it to the point where promoters couldn't make money off of it. It wasn't worth doing.
Well,
So
that was the desired effect, I'm sure.
yeah, and it worked uh, in a way. In a
Mhm.
way, it pushed the wrong people to the higher level. Um,
Mhm.
you know, the people who were dealing the drugs and doing all the
Mhm.
bad stuff were the ones throwing the big parties now, and
Yeah.
you know, it was it was a bad thing that turned out to be really good because out of that sprung a lot of smaller communities. We were allowed to have up to 250 people at a
Oh.
party, and then it was unregulated as long as you didn't
Oh.
cross that mark. So that's when we kind of, you know, like, oh, okay, well, if we just do a 250 person party, it'll be a fucking rager. We can do it in a smaller venue, stay away from all the regulations and shit. And the
Mhm.
community that came out of that was just absolutely insane. I mean, these people are still going today, 90% of them.
Yes.
Some of them, like if you've heard of PK Sound, that
I
sprung
have
out of
not.
that. PK Sound is actually probably, I would say, North America's leading electronic sound company, like for
Okay.
specifically for electronic music.
Okay.
They're fucking nuts. Like they were a group of people in Calgary that just saw, you know, we had like Meyer Sound and Yamaha and all these like EV and PV and all this
Mhm.
garbage sound that had no bass and was designed for rock and roll. And
Mhm.
they kind of the guy who runs it, um, he was doing stereo competitions for vehicles, so
Mhm.
making insanely loud cars, and he was like, well, I can translate this over to stereos for raves.
Mhm.
So they started building stereos for raves, and that just kind of trickled, and now those guys do EDC. um,
Wow.
they do all of Shambhala. They do pretty much every Western Canadian music festival. Lots of stuff down into the States. They do Lightning in a Bottle. Um, yeah, they do so many things now, and like their sound is so good. It's so heavy.
Yes. Yes, as it should be.
Yeah, like you know, what's drum and bass without bass?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um, excuse me. Uh, so yeah, you definitely with 250 people and these laws that sort of put a stranglehold on everything, seems like you probably already sort of like that kind of weeded out maybe the sort of casual, you know, listener. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to small events, probably mostly locals, not insane,
yeah,
effects and stuff like that.
it did. I mean, we still had the massives, but
Hmm.
the people who went to the massives typically didn't know about the actual stuff that was happening, you know. And it's not to say that the
Right,
massives weren't good. Sometimes there was good
right,
ones,
right,
but you know, they didn't have the same vibe. It
right.
was a lot of it was we had a real bad problem with Asian gangsters at that time, and
Hmm.
you could see the divide on the floor. Sometimes you'd see fights on the dance floor and stuff, and it was
Hmm.
like it wasn't a good time. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't conducive to what we all know as raving.
right,
It wasn't
right.
happy. It wasn't fun. It was tension and kind of like, oh, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get too
Yeah,
close to these guys. I don't want to get too close to these guys. And
yeah.
that's not what you want to think about when you just want to take
No.
the acid and go rave for the
Or shit, just like enjoy some music and get lost
night.
in it and,
Exactly. Yeah.
not worry about your personal safety.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Hey, no use for anger. Good to see you. Um, We were talking about you earlier,
Yeah.
but I won't tell you what we said. Not
Only
really. We
bad,
said
only
something
bad things.
nice.
Just bad things. It's like, oh, did you hear him speaking today? Oh my god.
I know. Like, not only was he on the mic, but
Yeah.
like I freaked out because I came in and I typed my usual greeting, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Curly," on the mic. I was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, that's the first time that's ever happened." It
Yeah,
was
it was
dope.
different.
You did a really good job with it, No Use for Anger. You seemed very comfortable with it. If you
Yeah,
decide you want to keep doing it, you'll get very good at it very quickly.
it's true. You've already got the personality. I personally, the mime thing is like incredible to me. Just the amount of emotion you can exude without actually saying anything is it's almost better than
My
like
my favorite with No Use for Anger, and I would love it with anybody, but I know I see it more with him because he's not on the mic, is when I put something in the chat and I'm trying to make him laugh. And that
yeah,
moment when I see that he reads it
yeah.
and laughs, it's like it makes my day. It absolutely makes my day.
No,
Uh
it's a big part of the stream for sure.
yes.
Try and make
Yes.
Catch laugh.
Absolutely. And watch him sing and with the gun fingers.
No,
Um
and the dance.
okay, so let's talk about your stream.
Hmm.
So, you obviously, you have a mic. You have one of my favorite overlays on Twitch, honestly. Like, I think you take such good advantage of that wide angle, sort of like fisheye camera with your overlay. I love it.
Hmm.
Um, but tell me again, because can't remember the details, and not everybody in the chat is going to know. When did you get on Twitch?
I got on Twitch right at the start of the pandemic, pretty much. I think it was maybe the tail end of March, right when it started. I was doing Facebook because I used to stream on Facebook a long time ago as well. Um, and yeah, like I started out on there, but it was the same Facebook thing. You know, you'd get half an hour into your set and you'd get a warning, and then next thing you know, you're kicked off and you'd have to restart the stream. You've lost all your viewers and you're like, it was just stupid. I fucking hate Facebook anyway. So I was very
Fun
happy to
Facebook.
find, yeah, fuck Facebook. I'm still on there for promotion, but other than that,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, when I found Twitch, it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And that was when Mixcloud was starting up their platform, and other people were trying to get something off the ground to do what Twitch does and what I think
Right.
Twitch really nails, more
Hmm.
so than other
Right.
pages do.
Right.
So I hopped on at that time, and it was more just like I had basically retired from DJing. I hadn't played any shows or anything. I'd kind of moved out to Victoria with the intent of not getting back into it. Um, just casually once in a while playing at home or whatever. And then yeah, it just kind of snowballed and people picked up on it and they were starting to really enjoy it. And I would do,
Hmm.
I'd do the reggae streams, and I was like, man, people are really enjoying this. I might as well just stick around and keep going. And now
Yes.
here we are,
Yes. Yes. Here we are. Uh uh you are beloved, shall we say. And you are, for me, a really good example of at what I would what is certainly the road to success if you want me to be like into your stream. I don't know if it goes like for everybody, let's say. I won't say that, but like you are uniquely you doing your thing um as you. Like, and no one else can be who you are. and I love that. I absolutely love that.
No, I think Twitch really gives us the ability to do that. It's so much different when you're able to stand in your own space in your own home where you're comfortable, and just it's basically like I'm having friends over and we're just hanging out, shooting the shit, and playing some music.
Yes, it's like bomb ass house party.
Come here.
Oh, Brunson, come on, Brunson.
Now he knows the camera's up and he's like, I don't know, man, I don't know about the camera.
Pebbles hated the camera. Bronson. Oh my God.
What's that?
Look at that tail. Look at that little nub of a tail. And the pouty lip. Oh my God. He would be so spoiled if he was mine.
Oh, don't worry.
That's what dogs are for.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a doll. He is a doll. We need a belly rub redemption for Bronson.
Oh, there is on my channel.
Okay. I have missed that. Well, we know where my channel points are going now.
There's treats for the dog and belly rubs.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Although you might want to talk to No Use for Anger, because Nismo got a lot of treats for her birthday on Sunday, and they may not have agreed with her entirely.
I heard that on his stream today. Luckily, Bronson is a trash compactor and he will eat almost anything. So right now he's got sweet potato treats that are just dehydrated sweet potatoes. Before that, he had dehydrated apples. So it's all veggies and fruits and stuff that he gets, and he's fine with it. So
he seems like a very happy boy.
Oh yeah, he's well fed, well walked. He's happy.
Okay, so like 1999-ish, you find Raga Jungle, and that's it. You're fucking hooked.
Yeah,
you're done.
Yeah.
You had your lovely. Shoot, what did you call him? I'm thinking Blue Laws, but that's not right. That's a weird American thing.
Oh, the extended dance act.
Yes. Yeah. But I love that out of the adversity of that sprung these really smaller events and a really tight scene. And that was all in Calgary that you were experiencing all of that?
Yeah. For the most part, I didn't really leave Calgary too much in those days, especially. Yeah.
So, when did you start as a DJ?
2 days after my first rave.
Yes.
Yeah. Literally, I went to my first rave. My buddy just like hammered on me. He's like, "Oh, you gotta come. It's Halloween. Just come. It'll be fun. I'll buy your ticket. Let's go." Sure enough, had a great fucking time. 2 days later, he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I just got a turntable and a couple records. Do you want to learn to DJ with me?" And I was already playing in bands at that time, and I was like, I like picking up music and playing with music, so it's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And he had one Pioneer belt drive or direct drive turntable, a Hitachi belt drive turntable.
Yes.
A CD player, like a compact disc portable player that was hooked in as well.
Nice.
And it was all hooked into a Radio Shack mixer that had no EQ, nothing. And we had no idea what we were doing. And in those days, it wasn't like you can just go on the internet and, punch into YouTube and find out what's what about DJing. It was like, the only information we found on the internet was about scratching. So yeah, for the first 3 months, I wanted to play hardcore techno when I first started. And he wanted to play trance. So he was buying trance records. I was buying techno records because we didn't get hardcore records in Calgary, and
Mhm.
I was playing them too fast. I mean, at the very start of it, I honestly, we both kind of thought that like you bought drum tracks and then you bought tracks with like the highs and mids, so you play them that way, and that was DJing. And then
Right.
I remember we bought Rockefeller Skank, the single, the 12-inch single, and on the one side it had that acid loop,
Mhm.
and I thought, oh, okay, that's how this works. So that's what we did, and sure enough, it just sounded like hell. And like we couldn't have even beat matched if we wanted to. But we sat there for 2 or 3 months in his basement, just all three things going at once, and just going, that sounds right. Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good.
This is like a real Frankenstein DIY DJ setup.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Like this is a very punk rock approach to getting a setup so you can learn how to DJ.
Yeah.
So obviously okay, I just have to say this. I don't know if I have boomers all in the crowd or if there's some younger people, but boy, does this like bring home the fact that while the internet is great, it was not always this like paradise of easily accessible step-by-step
Yeah.
videos to show you how to do things. Like
It was such a different time back then. Oh man. And like even trying to load a video in those days, it was like, okay, load it, go out for a little bit, do your thing, come home, maybe have a nap, shower, and hopefully it'll be halfway through and you can watch half of it and
yes.
then come back to it
Yes.
later. Like, man, dial up.
Buffering.
Yeah.
Buffering.
You kids don't know.
You kids just don't know.
Yeah.
And your mom picks up the phone and that's it. You're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
The 500 or the 50 megabyte BMP that you were trying to download is gone.
Yeah.
You got nothing.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Those were the days.
Yeah. Hey Kitty, good to see you.
Big up,
oh, Neuro is showing his age. He did dial up at 2400. My first modem dial up was I think 9600, but 2400. Whew,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, so I'm really curious about this. So which came first, the jungle or the reggae for you?
Jungle.
Okay.
Yeah. Reggae just wasn't a huge thing in Calgary. Like I said, like Calgary, Alberta, I had, Bob Marley and like some of the bigger guys I'd hear growing up, but I never got to really experience it. And it was only once I started hearing all this Raga Jungle and stuff, then I was like, oh, okay, well, it's this element that really gets me going about this music. Maybe like that's had to have come from somewhere. So starting to look into that, and then it just kind of spitballed from there. And
I love that.
um,
I love that. For me, I never really listened to hip hop before I got into drum and bass. Definitely never listened to reggae before I got into drum and bass.
mm-hmm.
Very much like a Seattle grunge alternative girl before before raves and drum and bass. I love the idea that Junglist Week can be very narrow, or were very narrow. But I love that it
still a little
introduces
bit, still a little bit narrow.
Depend. Yeah. I mean, maybe not narrow, but I'll take a detour around some things. Foghorn? No. Go the other direction.
I love my foghorn.
It depends. No Use for Anger actually played the dub plate that John B gave him. uh, it had this noise that was almost a foghorn. Like I wouldn't quite say it was a foghorn, and I was like, "This is acceptable.
Hmm.
I'm okay with this."
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, tell me about like your journey discovering reggae. I'm super curious how that went, going from the jungle direction to reggae as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it was really hard to find in Calgary, but I had mentioned that dub at the pub. We had um, every Tuesday night. It was I think it was $2 to get in, $2 cover charge. You go down, and it was like I said, on the one side roots reggae, and at 12 o'clock when the other side switched to jungle and stuff. On the first side, there was a bunch of MCs that would get up and start, MCing over top of the versions, like the um, just the rhythm tracks of reggae tunes. And it was just so nuts
Nice.
watching these guys go, and they'd be battling back and forth in each other's faces. And I was like, man, the intensity of that is so cool to me. And I'd watch it, and then I ended up retiring. I think it was about 2004 for the first time. I'm on fourth retirement now. So the first time in about 2004, took a break from everything, went away,
Mhm.
and kind of started to explore other styles of music at that time. Um,
Mhm.
I was I've been a drummer since I was 6 years old, so I was trying to get more into hip hop drumming and jazz drumming and stuff like that. And then when I came back, I ended up going back to that same club night a lot more. And
Mhm.
eventually, I met the the guy who was running it and started talking to him more and more. And he kind of took me under his wing. And as it turned out, he also owned one of the largest record stores in Western Canada, if not all of Canada. It was a crazy hidden gem, just an absolute hidden secret in Western Canada called Recordland,
Mhm.
where, if you know who DJ Shadow is,
Yes.
um, if he was anywhere near Calgary, he would take the time out to go there and go through the records, because there was literally millions, millions of records that weren't even in the store. They were in the back storage area, and they would let them
Mhm.
go in there and just go nuts, whatever you want, buck a record. Like, it was just such an untapped resource. And of course, not a lot of people in Calgary were doing that style of DJing where it was sampling and taking from old records and stuff. So
Right.
a really crazy resource. And then as I kind of got more in with him and hung out and stuff, he just started, okay, you want to play reggae, then I'm going to start giving you things. And it wasn't, do you want this? It was, no, you need this in your collection. Here, you take this one, you're buying this one, this one, this one. And he was just, every time I'd see him, he's loading me up, just giving me new stuff. He's selling it to me at cost. He's like, yeah, yeah, you need this, you need that. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, I'm sure I would have developed my taste in reggae over time, but this was like a crash course. Like,
Mhm.
no, you're taking all of it. Here you go. And yeah, sure enough, it's where
Yeah.
most of these records came from.
Yes. That's amazing. You were like his Padawan.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It
It's
ended
always
up
not.
that the last, I think it was the last 2 or 3 years that club night ran, me and him would go back to back on the roots reggae side, and we would play 5 hours, 5.5 hours back to back, tune for tune. And we called it the round
Nice.
man sound. It was two big guys in a little DJ booth.
Going around and around and around.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a nerdy question. So, reggae.
Mhm.
What is roots reggae within
Uh,
that?
well, roots reggae is more it's the roots sound. So like the original sound. Um, I'm not the best at defining it, but I'll do what I can for it. It's more of the original sound of reggae. So not so much the electronic effects and all that stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, the more like bongos and light dub kind of stuff. That's typically more towards the roots reggae sound.
Okay. So more instrumentation, less like
Yeah.
affected kind of stuff.
hmm And from the original era of
Mhm.
when reggae started to be a thing.
Okay. So I'll ask you that too. When did reggae start to be a thing? I'm gonna get my money's worth and get an education here.
Well, reggae, as far as reggae is concerned, started to come out really heavily in like the late 50s and 60s. 60s was the explosion of it in Jamaica, and
Mhm.
70s was when it started to really seep into the world.
Mhm.
The late 60s, early 70s was when it really started to move into the world with, your Bob Marley's, Peter Tosh. And of course, it all came out of ska. So, like,
Mhm.
ska was previous to that, calypso, all that kind of island sound,
Mhm.
and then branched off into reggae, roots reggae. So,
So, uh, did you in your like sort of in your education, right, of about reggae, did you learn at some point? I mean, obviously, because I know this is not gonna be the first time you've heard of this. How did you learn about sort of all of those like sound system, like cultural elements that also sort of seeped into drum and bass and became part of drum and bass culture, like emceeing and, battling and, you know, all of our lighters and rewinds and you know, the whole thing.
yeah, that just came from the thirst for knowledge and the internet. Once the internet got better, you got to watch these sound clashes and all these crazy videos that did come out of Jamaica or out of the UK and reggae culture and what they were doing, and that's kind of how I got to learn that more and more. And then playing jungle music all the time and being with all these other junglists who knew a lot more than I did. And
Mhm.
I've always been the type where I like to listen, and
Mhm.
you know somebody's talking, I'm perfectly happy just sitting back and listening to what they're saying. And that helped me a lot, just sponging up the information that people were throwing out. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
Um, so I remember when there was a moment for me when it really clicked how much of drum and bass culture really was rooted in um the sound system uh you know scene, I
Mhm.
guess, for lack of a better word, and culture. Do you remember when you do you remember putting it together and did it blow your mind that this jungle that you had found first actually was so influenced by this thing that you're super into
Oh
now?
yeah, yeah. I liked to read a lot, so I read like all crews and
Mhm.
pretty much anything I could get my hands on. And in there, they talked about what you know what had happened. And I've always been one for the lineage of music,
Mhm.
how music has evolved over time. It's just so fascinating to me. I love studying that. I love looking at that and seeing just like how these tiny things influenced each other. And you can completely see how easy it was for jungle music to seep out of reggae culture. Reggae culture was already in the UK, and
Mm-hmm.
it was, it was amongst the poorer people, which is, like it or loathe it, that's where good music comes from. It comes out of hard times, it comes out of struggles, and a lot of the time it comes out of poor people.
Mm-hmm.
And in that area, you had these things happening. You had these sound clashes happening. Um, so it was like a natural rotation that eventually, as this electronic sound was coming up, all these influences that had already been there with the parents of these people who were
Mm-hmm.
making these sounds were just going to keep rolling right in. And I mean, it's a really interesting thing to see how far it went.
Mm-hmm.
You hear people say like bun Facebook and all this stuff, and the amount that reggae culture and dub culture affected music
Mm-hmm.
is almost immeasurable. I'm reading another book about it right now that's called Dub, Shattered Soundscapes in Jamaican Music Culture, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's actually tracing like the first time that echoes were used was in dub music. That was
Uh-huh.
something that came out of dub music. It still exists today. Some of the first rapping or MCing
Mm-hmm.
was in dub music or in reggae music, and that's
Yep.
still something that's happening today. There's like Iroy and Uroy, two Jamaican artists
Mm-hmm.
who a lot of people credit them not as like the fathers of hip hop, but they were the first guys that were doing the rapping over top of music, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they necessarily started that, but it's one of the first examples we see of that
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not hard to see that that translated to Queens, which has a heavy Jamaican population, all these places
Mm-hmm.
where, Jamaican populations are existing.
Mm-hmm.
It was that easy. It's pick it up and okay, it just evolves and turns and boom, next thing you know.
Yes. Such an amazing example of like a good of like the good that can come from gathering people of many cultures together.
Yeah,
Um,
it's super important that we never lose that aspect
mhm,
of society, that we
mhm,
always bring people together and we share
yes,
these things. It is
yes,
it is paramount to how we move forward, how things get better. Like,
mhm,
if food,
yeah,
music, whatever,
mhm, yep,
fashion,
yep, yep,
it's extremely important that we never lose that about
yes,
us.
yes. And I heard, so I don't know if Canada has this expression, but in America, we really like this expression of the melting pot, right? To
Yeah.
like talk about, um, you know, maybe not right now, but there was a time in America where we were very open to immigrants from lots of different places. America is absolutely 100% built by immigrants.
Mhm.
And especially considering that like we are not indigenous to this place.
Yeah.
But I heard someone say, like, they were sort of criticizing the term melting pot. And they said, really what you want to be is like a salad because each ingredient in the salad is still itself, but everything comes together to make this new thing. And like that for me was really powerful because like I mean imagine if all these Caribbean, Jamaican, whatever folks that had went to the UK had just assimilated into
Mhm.
UK culture and
Yeah.
hadn't brought the specific things about them, um, just in the UK, the impact that that would have had, let alone in Queens, in all places all around the world. Um, And God, I don't ever want that to be
Yeah,
lost, you know.
no, no, it would be a horrible reality.
Yes. Yes, it absolutely would. Um uh okay, so uh I'm gonna nerd out again. What is the difference between reggae and dub?
Uh, Dub to me typically means a lot less vocals,
Okay.
way more electronic influence in the sounds,
Okay.
really spacey stuff. Yeah, a lot more electronic influence, I would say.
Hmm. All right. I'm into that. I love
Quite
that.
distinct.
Hey, distinct. Yay, another Calgary homie.
Hmm.
So glad you're here, girl. Again, fucking Canadians, man. You guys are everywhere. I love you. I loved you before all of this. I knew Canada was awesome, but damn,
No.
Canadian drum and bass. Oh, let's talk about, so you and I, when we had our little pre-chat, you were talking about we were talking about Western Canada and drum and bass and how um perhaps for other people it was like unexpectedly vibrant, like in a way that people wouldn't have thought of. And you specifically brought up Saskatoon and how Saskatoon had this crazy stuff. So please tell the people who do not know about this sort of about, Western Canada drum and bass scene in general, but also like with Saskatoon as like a very specific example of that.
Yeah. Ultimately, Darth would be the best person to speak to on that. But
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to come on. He's putting me off.
I would love to see him actually talk.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, right?
But yeah, there was a lot of really incredible movements that started in Saskatchewan and Saskatoon area.
Mhm.
With I'm sure Darth can straighten it out for me. It was PPM was the name of the company, but it was Plastic Puppet Motive or Movement. I can't remember which one. Um, they did a lot of crazy shows, and they did like traveling shows where they would go to other cities, bring all their stuff with them, sometimes bring DJs and set up, throw raves. And I mean, that was crazy. Like, to think of doing that, like a mobile rave company, is just it's awesome. But
Yes.
I would never have thought to do it myself. Um, yeah, and it was such a weird little pocket where if you ever spoke to somebody from outside of Western Canada, it was like, really, drum and bass exists out there? Like, I thought you guys just liked country music. It was like, no, of course there's pockets. It may not be huge, but there's pockets. And like, because of that, I think that for a lot of us that were coming up in it, we just had to scratch and work and fight that much harder to try and stand out, to try and show people like, hey, we are an actual thing. Drum and bass didn't hit Toronto and then just stop. Like, it went all the way to the coast.
Hmm.
Believe it or not.
Oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's another crazy thing to me, is like, you didn't really hear about US and drum and bass that was happening outside of AK 1200, DJ
Mhm.
Rap, like the Planet of the Drums.
Yeah.
That was it. There's
Yeah.
no other drum and bass in the United States. But it's
Yeah.
like, no,
Breakbeat
there's
science.
yeah,
That's
like
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Respect.
no, it's some of
Respect
the
in LA. Yeah.
best reggae jungle that was being made came out of the United States. Like, it wasn't
I did
all
not
coming
know
from the
that.
UK. Oh yeah, Tester with why is the name escaping me now? Trilogy Sound. They were insane. super crazy raga jungle, really frenetic stuff, the kind of stuff that No Use for Anger plays on a Thursday, like really heavy
Mhm.
stuff. Inducer, Lion Dub, like there was so much crazy stuff coming out of that area. 6 Block, like, you know, and it just never got recognized until a couple years ago, even, it feels like, where people were like, oh, okay, yeah, there is actually music happening in this genre outside of the UK.
Yes. Yes. I have been very pleasantly surprised as I have come back from my hiatus at how much prominence artists from all over the world, including the US, have. Like, this has definitely finally become very worldwide, uh,
Mhm.
scene, and in a way that it's like you don't have to apologize for not being from the UK and
Yeah,
liking the music, which is dope.
yeah.
Um, I'm looking at some of the questions. Just
Yeah,
distinct,
I'm pretty
distinct
sure.
asks.
No, go ahead.
Uh, no, you go ahead.
I'm pretty sure Jackie Murda is American.
Hmm.
Pretty sure.
Sounds right.
Yeah, he's Chopstick Dub Plate, which, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that is UK, but I'm pretty sure Jackie Murda is the American contingent of that.
Hmm. So this is distinct's question. Uh, why don't you ever come visit me in Calgary?
Yeah,
Uh, Probably because you called him Bears Pacific Guru
yeah, yeah.
and not Beats Pacific Guru.
That's the main
Bears
reason.
is Bears is a totally other guy. Like, he doesn't have the Tennessee waterfall wig. He has a bear suit.
No. I should get a bear suit though.
It's a thing. It would be
Yeah.
really hot though. I don't know that you want to get that I don't know that you want to open that door.
Well, for
Uh
my Christmas stream, I have a Santa suit, and I
yes.
wore the Santa suit with it's got dreadlocks and everything, and I wore that for the stream. I had to have my window the full way open, and still, probably about half an hour, 45 minutes into the stream, I was just like, oh my God, I'm dying here.
In December
Yeah.
in British Columbia.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, it's pretty warm in Victoria most of
Yeah.
the year, so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm reminded of for Halloween, Gouda dressed up as Hagrid, and that costume did not last long. It did not last long
it's
at all.
like the wig. It only
Yeah.
lasts a little while.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh. Oh wow. Charlie is 45 kilometers from Victoria. That's wild to think. Like, the island is completely removed from everything and only 45 kilometers from Victoria. That's awesome.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are going to have an easy time visiting when all of this nonsense dies down a little bit.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Hopefully.
I had trips booked to the United States
Hmm.
before this happened. I was supposed to go see Ween in Seattle on my birthday, and that got shut down, unfortunately. Which I still
Yeah.
hope I get to see them at least one more time, because they're
Yeah.
incredible.
Ugh. I'm trying to think who it was. My best friends have been lamenting movement keeps getting canceled, and they have been lamenting that. What is Ween's big song? Like, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. I never really got into Ween, but there's some song they did that I would recognize as them if I heard it. But
Probably the HIV song, I think.
oh, I don't think
Or
it's that one. I feel like I definitely would have remembered that one.
that was the one that a lot of people recognized. There was Push the Little Daisies.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah, it was on
That's the
Beavis and
one.
Butthead. That's why people recognize that one.
Yes. Oh, Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Ah, those were the days.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I would love to Secret Structures. I only have 2 of their albums on vinyl, and they're very difficult to find, unfortunately. I've been trying to find them. If you don't know who Ween is, go
Mhm.
find out who Ween is.
Yeah, Namzi G, they're a band.
And they are
Google them.
incredible. Absolutely one of the best bands you've never heard of.
And they don't sound like anybody else. Like,
No.
and for me, that's a huge compliment. Um, they are doing their they're doing their own thing.
No.
Yeah, I bet you do, Distinct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret Structures, they don't even sound like themselves.
It's true. But
Do
they
they
can
change?
impersonate anybody better than anybody else.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm
their
into
Led
that.
Zeppelin covers are incredible.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel that YouTube rabbit hole is in my future.
Yeah. If you can look up Live in Chicago with Ween, and it's 2 hours or something like that. The whole concert is just incredible.
Oh, yes. All right, live in Chicago. Um, uh, what was I gonna say? I don't know. So yeah, you're crazy enough that you put the is it a mullet? Is it head wig? I don't know. I honestly am super tempted right now to throw down a gauntlet and say that for Halloween you need to be Hedwig.
This actually comes from an old Halloween costume, amazingly enough.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
I can't remember. I think it was this. It was like the local university radio station, their Halloween party, and the theme was sports. So I wore this with a hat that said Alberta redneck and proud of it. Cut off jean shorts that were cut just to below my genitals.
Oh God.
And like a crop top. I think it was an Emmett Smith jersey.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it. Oh,
it was something.
that was what I was going to ask you. So yeah, you obviously had the people that were like, I thought you just listened to country music. So now I have to ask, is is Letterkenny Western Canada?
They kind of portray that they're not necessarily Western Canada. I would say, if anything, they're kind of Saskatchewan. It's like
Okay.
mid Canada. They are
Okay.
supposed to be Eastern Canada, but I mean, they're Canada. They're little town prairie Canada, which is pretty much all the same. The only thing that changes is the accent.
Oh God, that's fucking America too, man. Like Letterkenny
Right?
could be in almost any place in America too.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
probably why Americans fucking love it.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
No.
To be fair.
Good and you.
Yeah.
I know, and since that show came out, I always used to say "good and you." Now I'm like, oh, I can't say "good and you" anymore. They'll just think I'm Letterkenny.
Yes. Yes. We threw a before everything went to hell, we threw a super soft birthday party for our friend Corey.
Yeah.
It was amazing. There were unicorns. It was pink. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was a whole thing. That show is choice. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was great.
A very fun representation of Canada, even if it's not entirely accurate. It is enjoyable, as you know, comedy often is.
Yeah, it's accurate enough.
Static Quo, and we'll have to talk. I don't know that anybody wants to see that. Maybe on
My
my
wife
birthday.
would love that. She's nuts about curly hair now.
Oh yeah, does she have
Yeah.
curly hair?
Yeah, she does.
Or she just okay?
her regiment is intense. We won't get into it here because that'll take the rest of the show. But
Yeah. I'm fumbling right now. Like, honestly,
no.
this is COVID situation. My hair has not been this long in like over 10 years. I don't know what to do. Curly hair is absolutely a lifestyle because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it's
the
so
reason
much
I
work.
don't have hair is because I actually have black people hair, and
Oh, yeah.
it
You
is
have like very
so.
kinky hair.
Oh, it's curly as my beard.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't grow normal hair. I just grow an afro.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with an afro. That's normal. Look at Bob
True,
Ross.
but it's
Bob
a pain in
Ross
the
had an
ass to
afro.
keep.
Yes, tangles and dry and yeah. My mom rocked an afro in the 60s. My hair's not as curly as hers. So, yeah. Anyway, this is not a show about curly hair. It's a show about Beats. It's a show about Beats Pacific Guru, who is kind enough to come here. Um, okay, so you said that a lot of those records that you have in your space came from your Jedi, we'll call him your reggae master.
Yeah.
How many records do you have? Or, I mean, obviously, I don't expect you to have like a detailed count. Like, we'll need to ballpark it, but
I actually, after watching Catch for so long, I got inspired and went through and did the Discogs thing. So I actually know exactly how many I have. I think it's 1,398 right now.
nice. So you did your whole collection.
Yeah, there's a few that I haven't been able to get the white labels and stuff,
Mhm.
even using the etching and everything. I
Yep.
can't get them nailed down.
Yep.
But I've gone through and documented pretty much everything on the wall.
That's so much work, but also awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
luckily I was off for 9 months because I blew up my knee, and
oof.
I had a lot of time sitting and not doing anything. So it's like, oh,
Mhm.
might as well get this done.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting though when you actually start to document them and not that I would ever
Yeah,
sell any of them, but see how much they're worth and
right.
it's like, well, okay, when my parents said I was wasting all my money on vinyl, now I can be like, look.
It was an investment.
Yeah, exactly. That's Bronson's retirement fund.
It'll keep him in treats for 6 months.
Yeah, at least.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Um, you should see about No Use for Anger's bot, his Discogs bot. That might be
Yeah.
helpful for you or
It,
enjoyable. I don't know. It might not be, but
the only problem is I'm just like him where if I don't see the label, I don't register what's
mhm,
what in my head.
mhm.
So and my stuff is so disorganized, and I've tried to sit down and organize it, and it's like
Yeah.
my reggae is really well organized, but everything else is kind of all over the place.
It's hard. Like, uh,
Mhm.
it and everyone's so different in the way, like, it would make sense in their brain to arrange things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, at least, okay, so, yeah, I know you play reggae vinyl,
Mhm.
obviously. You play DVS, or do you have a controller that you use also?
No, I just use MP3s on XDJs, so the
Okay.
CDJs with no CD input,
Right.
and then vinyl. I don't even use record box or any of that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, technology's way beyond me.
I didn't even know you could do that. So,
You
like,
can.
basically, you kinda dial it up and
Well, it's pretty much you just load MP3s or waves, whatever, onto a USB key, plug them in.
mhm,
The only thing that sucks is you get none of the information. You don't get the BPM. You don't get
mhm.
the wave format, like the file to
Right,
see what it actually looks like.
right.
So it's as blind as you can go at it. Like it's
Mhm.
even more blind than using vinyl because you can't
Yes,
see the dips in the sounds.
yes,
You
yes.
know.
Oh
So
yeah, that's impressive. I have to say, like
yeah,
making that work.
it always kind of frustrates me when people are like, "Oh, you're just using CDJs. This is just super easy." Like, try.
Jesus.
No,
Uh, yeah. So when did you make the transition to, you know, doing
no.
any digital? And kind of what was that like?
I was actually one of the first people in my circle to do it. It was probably around, I think it was 2005 when I first came back from first retirement, and
Mhm.
I had CDJ 100s.
Mhm.
The first, well, I think they were the seventh model down or something, but the first like decent model of CDJ, and it was a pain in the ass because everybody was on vinyl. They
Mhm.
were on Serato,
Right.
um, and I would show up to the club with my CDJs. And at the time, I had, like I said, I was retired, so
Mhm.
the club that I was playing at, the guy who owned the club knew me from before, and he said, "No, if you guys are going to do a night here," to the guys that were doing the Friday, he said, "You have to have this guy once a month, and he's the headliner when he comes in." I said, "Okay, I'll go and do it. It'll be fun." So I would show up with these CDJs in a tub, and these guys would, every time I would show up, it was, a big group of them. So half the time I'd show up and they wouldn't know who I was, and they're, "Oh, look at this fucking guy bringing CDJs. Who's this guy?" And they'd make fun of me and make fun of me until I got up there, set them up, and started playing, and then they shut their mouths instantly. And it was like, yeah, you can play on CDJs, guys. So that was about 2006, 2005, maybe. And yeah, I've stuck with it since then for the most part. I still use vinyl, um, not as much. Well, I guess more these days. I refuse to play reggae if it's not on vinyl. That's
Yeah.
maybe a small thing.
And yeah, well, why is that? What's your thought process behind that?
I don't know. There's just something about reggae on a piece of vinyl that just like, I don't know. There's something about it that I just can't get over. That, putting the needle on it, everything. It's
Mhm.
the guy that took me under his wing and taught me. He only played vinyl, and he had stacks. His whole apartment wasn't walls; it was record shelves the entire
Oh,
way
wow.
through his place, and like floor
Oof.
to ceiling records. So,
Wow. That
I
feels like
guess
you would need a reinforce the floor.
it was upstairs was his apartment, and downstairs was the record shop.
Ah,
So, like, I would honestly guess there was near a billion records, and that's not even like
wow.
overshooting it or anything. There
Mhm.
was in 2013 there was a flood in Calgary, and they got affected by the flood, and he threw out around 2 million vinyls
Whoa.
because they got destroyed in the flood.
Ah.
And
No use
then,
for anger is crying somewhere.
yeah, I'm sure. And then even still, they like, he's still not through all the old inventory, going through just trying to find what's actually in there and what's
Mhm.
usable and what's not. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was just such a wild place, man. I wish that everybody could go and just see that place once, because
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And I'm thinking Golden Child would love that. Marky would love that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
anybody who's ever picked up a piece of vinyl would just be blown away. I remember when, if you know who Spin Scott is,
yes, I just followed him today.
yeah, he's an absolutely incredible, incredible artist. But he collects old rare groove and soul.
Mhm.
And when we brought him up to Calgary, he stayed with me for 5 days, because that was kind of our rule when we were doing the last company that I was president of. was, if you're coming up, we're taking you on a vacation. Like, you're coming up, you're staying with us for a couple days. It makes flights cheaper. We'll show you around. We'll take you out to Banff. We'll feed you the entire time. You get your own room. You'll be happy. Brought him up, and I took him to Recordland the one day, and he went into the 45 room. And if you can imagine, like, my studio space, it was basically the same size, with floor to ceiling shelves of 45s in slide out cases about that wide.
Oh,
that you
wow.
pull out and flip through, and buck a 45. And he must have spent an hour and a half in there and maybe got through 3 or 4 of these pull out shelves and was just like, I don't even know what to do. This is insane. I just want to stay here for the rest of my life.
Yes. Those record guys, man, like,
Yeah.
live for that. Just live for that.
Yeah. That grease and grime that you get on your fingers after 3 or 4 hours of searching through records.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Has no use for anger, says we be nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knows.
Vinyl nuts are nuts. By the way, no use for anger. Did you hear the comment on 2 million records getting destroyed in a flood? 2 million. Yes. All those zeros. Yeah, buddy.
If you think of like the big steel box storage containers, he threw out 2 of those filled with records.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was largest collection in Canada for sure, I think, right?
I would honestly wager, if not one of the biggest record collections in Canada, definitely 100% the biggest reggae collection in Western Canada, if not all of Canada, because everything in his apartment is either reggae or reggae jungle. He does not have country. He does not have rock and roll. It's reggae or reggae jungle. And yeah, like, to spend a couple hours in his rugged jungle room, because it was a whole room.
Wow.
It was just nuts, floor to ceiling, just records. And like, he was one of those guys who had it, he had the dividers, so it was by artist, chronological, all the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Does this guy still sell records? Because I'm feeling a flight is being booked. Needs to be booked very quickly for no use for anger.
Yeah, he does. They've gone through a lot of the old stock though and pulled it out, and he doesn't really sell records so much. He's an interesting character, and I mean, as No Use for Anger will attest to, he for instance, he has one record that's Soom T. It's called An Ode to a Carrot. So Soom T is this tiny, maybe 4.5 foot tall Scottish woman who fucking belts. Like, belts. She is one of the craziest little reggae singers ever. She put out that album when she was smoking weed, and then she went through this weird hardcore Christian phase and took down everything that she had. It's YYC. YYC is the code you're looking for. But anyway, she took down that record and took down everything that she had previous and discontinued it all. So he started buying up all of those records. I ended up buying one, I think it was online, and I brought it to the club one day and was about to play it, and he was like, no, don't play that. That's like a $300 record. I'll buy it off you right now. I was like, no, it's my record. I want to keep it. Like, this is a sick fucking record. Oh, no, I'll buy it off you. I'll buy it off you. And then later on, I went to his house and found out he has 30 copies of that and still wanted to buy mine off of me. That's like, you have 30 copies of it, dude. You don't need another one. Well, I'll still buy it off you.
Vinyl people are nuts.
Yeah. I think
Crazy.
the craziest one he had was an $1,800 white label single-sided. I can't remember what rhythm it was, but it was just a rhythm track from an old reggae tune. But it was the original cut, the very
Oh,
first time
wow.
it had ever been put on vinyl. And like he cherished that thing so much. It was just insane.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Ugh, dang. Um, okay, so I've learned a little bit about reggae tonight. That makes me super happy. Um, so shoot. So you've been on Twitch since March, so it's been like a year now for
Yeah.
you. Um, how has the year been? Like, you know, I guess, how has streaming been for you? How has it surprised you? All of that.
Um, I mean, it's been great. It's like I said, I had kind of walked away from DJing again after the dissolution of my last company that I was involved in, and had kind of just said, you know what, I did the career thing for about 7 years, and I made an okay go of it. I mean, it was tough, but I loved every minute of it. That's how I met a lot of like Distinct and Strange Manner, Darth, and a lot of these folks was from that career point. And then getting to pick back up the streaming thing, at first I was like, you know what, it'll probably be 5 or 6 people, maybe at best, listening. And for a while it was, and it was like I don't really care. I just want to play music, and I'd have those 5 or 6 people pop on and be like, oh, this is great, really helps, it's so nice, you're getting us through the day. And then it's just started to kind of snowball. And thankfully, I mean, like, Darth has been such a great friend all this time. He's been pushing me to go harder and always rating into me, and like, sharing everything that he's getting with me, kind of thing, which is, I love Darth for that. I can't wait to actually see him in person. I'm going to squeeze his
Yep.
eyes right out of his head. And then, yeah, like I never, ever thought that I would get, I think I'm just over 900 followers now. And I never thought I'd get there. Like, I still don't view myself as a great DJ or anything. I'm just another guy putting pieces of plastic on a turntable and dropping a needle on it. So to me,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's you just described every DJ.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
well, that plays vinyl.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
other ones are like needles. What's a needle?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been an absolute trip. The fact that I get to sit here and chat with you, and have these folks listen to my life story and the things that I've done, it's like, wow, that's unbelievable to me. Just
Yeah.
makes me really happy.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we actually didn't talk like your whole story. So you and your friend were fumbling around on this like fully Frankenstein
Hmm.
DJ setup. How did you guys like finally, you know, learn how to like DJ?
So, uh, in the early 2000s, when DJing really exploded, there was this thing that you could buy that was literally called DJ in a box. And it was 2 turntables and a mixer in a box. Um, and my friend, he must have petitioned his parents for so long, Just, oh, please, 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 we're really into this. Yeah, exactly. Gemini, DJ in a box. And he finally, one day he came home and his parents had bought him the DJ in a box. And man, we were just, our whole world's changed. It was like, oh, okay, so there is like a variable speed. So you
Yeah.
just bring the tempos together. Oh, okay. And
Yes.
it was hilarious because it came with this video, like a VHS, if there's obviously folks in here who remember the VHS. That was the How to DJ with DJ Gemini, and it was such a ginormous piece of shit. Like it was him scratching a little bit and showing you some stuff, and then he did like this sequence at the end where he was standing on his hands on top of the turntables and shit, and it was like, I want to be a techno DJ, man. Like I'm never going to use any of this shit. So eventually he kind of lined up with a group in Calgary that really pushed him and really moved him forward, and I just kind of glommed on to him, and we worked at it. Yeah, those, I mean, everybody's talking about those Geminis. They were hard, man. You, like a technique, you could lock it in and it would stay when you got
Right.
the beat matching on. With those
Right.
Geminis, you were constantly slowing, speeding. It was no constant speed, so you were always messing with it, and it was such a pain.
Mm-hmm.
But we learned on those. I remember when we were first learning, we would mess with each other to be like, oh, okay, well, you're going to be ready if you ever go to the club and people are throwing coasters at you. You're going to be ready because we're going to sit here and throw coasters at you while you're trying to play. So, you know, we're learning.
Nice.
We're holding down like in front of the turntables, blocking freaking cards and stuff. Yeah. But
Love
we
that.
learned. We learned how to play from that. Man, we went through probably a mixer a month, just breaking them, just playing them so hard, and like all the time. We were constantly on it. It was school's done. Let's go. We're going over. We're sitting there. We're mashing turntables till we get a mix down.
Nice.
I can still remember the first time I got a mix down, and it was just like a revelation, man. It was trance, but it was like, oh, that's what we're doing. I finally see it. And
Yep.
I was fucked from then on out.
I'm jealous. I wish I remembered like the moment. Like, I mean, I knew what was supposed to happen. I very vividly remember, going like trying to listen to one in my headphone and one on the monitor, and my brain was like smoking. It was so
Yeah.
it was so challenging. I don't remember like the first time that I like successfully, beat match something, but yeah, it's a moment, man.
Yeah. But it took us months to get there. Yeah. And shortly after that was when I found jungle music and breaks and all that stuff. And then it was just like a whole new hole to go down, and of course, in those days, you didn't have the resources. I didn't have anyone to talk to and be like, hey, what am I doing here? What should I be looking for? So I just started buying whatever jungle music I could find that hit me really well. And eventually I built up, my one set of records. It was like, okay, I've got 60 minutes I can put together. Yeah. And just snowballed from there.
What was your first gig?
My first gig was at a show called Bionic Orange, and it was an absolute shit show. I was closing it out, playing. I think I was still playing techno at that time, or they had hired me to play techno. I know I was playing techno at that show, and it was like acid techno, pretty heavy stuff to be closing out the night. But yeah, it was a decent crowd. Okay time. I was so fucking nervous. It was just stupid. I was, the first 10 minutes I was scratching the needles across. I remember at one time I picked up the wrong needle and was like, oh shit, drop that back down, keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first one. And then for me, it was never too bad with the whole stage fright thing. I've been
Mhm.
performing since I was 6 years old in some way, shape, or form. So that part didn't get to me too much. It was always
Mhm.
just the first few minutes. Then once you sink into it, it was like, okay, good to go. Let's start to play.
Yeah. Yeah. No Use Franger says he picked up the needle on the wrong record last week.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
It still
Nobody
happens.
cared.
Yeah.
It was like not a big deal.
The number one thing that I learned is if you make a mistake, own that mistake.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, laugh about
Yep.
it, slough it off, keep going. Most of the
Yep.
time, people are going to be like, "Oh, that's funny."
Yep. Well, you know, when I was DJing, I was involved in some uh like a mailing list for women that were DJs, and we'd always have like new girls coming in and wanting advice. And I remember very distinctly telling them, "You're gonna train wreck. You're gonna make some mistake. It's
Yeah,
just going to happen."
yeah,
The good news is that if the next track is a banger, they will move right past it. The
yeah,
audience will move right past it.
yeah.
You, on the other hand, are going to have a hard time moving past it, but you've got to. Otherwise, it's just
Mhm.
going to be a downward spiral.
Yeah, it's
Um,
all in your head.
yes, yes. Uh, E-Town Junglist. Oh man, I'd love screwing up on Twitch.
Yeah,
Uh, it can make for some great clips, man, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I don't know if anything can beat the luchador, but I can't wait to talk about that shit.
Yeah. It's funny because Darth, myself, E Town, and Strange Matter have started like a Wednesday raid thing. It's still unofficial at this point, but we're trying to find a name, and I suggested WWF Wednesdays, and we all wear luchador masks while we play.
Yes, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Especially Darth's luchador name should be like El Hot Pants or something, and he can wear his little he can wear his hot pants with his luchador mask
Oh.
and pasties to stay within the TOS.
Florida.
Flippin' Florida. Ugh, Florida's so bad, man.
Mm,
So bad. Gotta turn off the clips before Speedo shows Darth Liquid. That's probably not a bad idea.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Don't worry, no use, Franger. I'm sweating in Texas already too, for sure. Uh, and let's all remember that it was not even 2 months ago that I was literally freezing in my apartment with no heat, or with
Oh,
no electricity. Texas
that's
is wild.
that's crazy.
Texas is wild. Um, and God, it snowed in the UK today. Okay, guys, this is a real Twitch moment, right? Like, we know the weather all over the world.
Yeah.
We know we have to pay attention to time zones
Oh
and
man, that's the
the
worst for
weather.
me. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out that 174 fest, what time I actually play.
I'm working on it, and I will be happy to help you. I'm hoping to
Okay.
get the spreadsheet soon, but yeah, I will be happy to I will be happy to help you with
I'm
that
gonna
for
need it.
sure. Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too. That's why I want the spreadsheet, because like I mean, I can do the math, but I don't want to have to do it like every time I look at the spreadsheet. I would like to have a column there to just
Yeah.
tell me, do the math once. Um, Gouda looked excited and was like, "What the fuck? It's snowing." Love that. Uh, uh, look at that lot of snow. You lot. That he needs. He if he does a new emote, it should be you lot.
No.
Um. Uh. Okay. Shoot. What else was I going to ask you? Oh yeah. Hold on. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. I have to see if I can find them. I was going to ask you about your emotes and why you picked them. These particular ones. Now, uh, okay, Irie makes perfect sense, right?
Yep.
But you only have four, right? So you have
No,
to
I have
limit
more.
yourself. Well, right now you only have
Oh yeah, my
4.
tier 1 I only have 4. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, how did you pick these particular ones? Because these are the ones obviously you're going to see the most, right?
Yeah. Well, the Hala was from the whole Darth Liquid, and when he first started, it was always the "Let me holla at you" thing. So
Yes.
that one came out of that. I actually made that for somebody else, and then they decided not to use it. So I was like, well, I like it. I'm just going to go ahead and use it myself.
Yes.
Irie, obviously, for the reggae. I wanted
Yes.
the reggae thing.
Mhm.
Bow was one of the first ones that I made as well.
Did you do these yourself?
The bow is stolen, the Hala is not, and the other two are made myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
The bow is fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, I tried to take it down and replace it with something else, and people were like, "What the hell, dude? I love that bow. Give me that bow back."
I want
Yeah,
my bow. I want my
yeah,
bow, bitch.
yeah. I can't deny what the people want.
There you go. Um, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there's one of the
The
people that complained, Colin.
I need my bow.
Oh,
Status. Bitch better bow.
nice.
Ugh, crazy. Okay, so we are coming up on the end of the stream. This is the
Wow.
part where I ask you what's coming up that we should know about. Any special events? Okay, one I know the answer to is the 174 Fest
Yep.
on, well, technically it's starting on March 16th, but will be most of the day. Most of it will be happening on March 17th, which for the UK folks is written 17-4, hence 174, hence Drum and Bass Day. Woohoo! Um, no, I'm just about to sit here and ask you what time you go on. When we just had the conversation about the difficulty of that. So I'm opening up Discord, and
If I'm not
I'm gonna
correct,
find out.
I think it's 9 p.m. Saturday my time, and then sometime with you for the chat thing.
Okay. Bum 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 bum. Where is it? Okay.
Professional.
So that's I've never pretended to be a professional. Not ever. I have been very clear that I am a
Yeah.
total idiot.
Yeah.
um. Okay. Yes. So it uh, looks like 4 a.m. for them on 4 a.m. on Sunday for them, which would be like 9 for you. Are you Mountain?
No, I'm Pacific.
You're Pacific. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, on that, I was gonna say, Beats Pacific.
Mhm.
That's actually a company name that we used to use. I usually just
Oh,
go by Guru.
okay.
Um, these days, a lot of the time, I go by Beats more.
Okay.
But Beats Pacific is actually supposed to be said fast because then it sounds like Be Specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that goes back to
All the way back to the
T-Bone.
start. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the way back to T-Bone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing the 174 Fest, which more
Yes.
promotion is coming on that, guys.
Sweet.
It's gonna be fun. What else you got going on that the people need to know about?
Honestly, not too much uh booked in right now that I know of. I do my regular streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I did have to cancel yoga for the meantime. We were doing yoga on Saturday, but I'm in school right now as well as working full time and doing Twitch. So it was just too much on my plate. So I had to cancel the yoga, unfortunately. Makes me sad,
Wow,
but hopefully we'll
that
bring
is
it
a
back. Yeah.
that's a whole lot.
Yeah. So
Um, what are you studying?
technical writing.
Oh God, You know what? Deep told me I'm an old lady. I'm trying to get my sleep sorted out, so I did not see your appearance on his show, but I did hear that he found some really tragic
Yeah.
technical writing examples for you to
Oh,
to
they were phenomenal.
critique.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff makes my skin crawl too. So when he was
Ugh,
showing me that stuff, I was just like, oh god.
fingernails on a blackboard in
Yeah,
full
pretty
effect.
much. Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
have to
great.
look for that. Okay, so when are your regular streams? So like
Um, I, I usually try and do about 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Wednesdays kind of change around a bit because, like I said, myself, Darth Liquid, E-Town Junglist, and Strange Manor, we're trying to do the Wednesday raid thing. We're
mhm,
still trying to find a name for it. Right now, it's Wednesdays Are Perfect, I think.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
doesn't matter, a name's a name. Either
Right.
way, we do a great raid thing, and we're trying to bring in people to join us to try and help kind of build the community even more. There's a lot of great streamers out there that just aren't getting the recognition they deserve or aren't getting the viewership they deserve, and those are the guys that we want to
Yes.
bring in and
Yes.
showcase. Tomorrow
Yes.
we've got Rude Boy Soldier joining us, who, man,
Awesome.
kills it, absolutely kills it
Yes.
every time I've seen him.
And what an amazing human being.
Yeah.
Like he is definitely the kind of guy that I want to support because he supports everyone.
Hmm.
Like everyone. Um
It's funny because WAP Wednesdays has been suggested more than a few times.
oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks like it might be Wet Ass Pussy Wednesdays.
You're gonna have to play some liquid. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Like
I mean, Darth Liquid.
if you want to stay true to that, we need some full panty soup action
Yeah,
going on. Um, uh, yeah, back to like people that not everybody knows about. Like, oh my God, there's just so many DJs, right?
yeah,
I personally love the idea of like putting the spotlight on more people because I think everyone should suffer the pain I do every day when I'm like, who am I going to listen to?
yeah.
There's so many. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know what to do.
yeah.
Ugh,
Sometimes I go and look through the list of people I'm following, and it's just like, man, I don't even know where to start.
yeah. Well, and I can't do the multi-tab thing. Like for me, um
No.
the enjoyment is being able to focus like
Yeah,
on the stream, engage with that streamer, engage with that chat.
yeah,
And yeah, so lately I've been just like uh uh do a little bit here, then do a little bit at another stream and a little bit over there. I'm like trying to you know, spread the love around. But what a great problem to have, right?
yeah. It's like I went to Coachella one year, and our biggest problem was we can't be at all the stages all the time.
Right.
Like,
Right.
if that's your worst problem, you're doing pretty good.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, Bug Out says he tries to go to the bottom of the list with the least viewers. That's really cool, and that's actually kind of what I look for
Yeah,
in a raid target as well.
yeah,
I don't have like
definitely.
the biggest audience, but
Yeah, but still,
it's
26
always nice
people
to
for
get a
those
raid.
guys who, yeah, like
Yeah,
I see right now, there's a bunch of people that I know who have 4 or 5 people.
yeah,
26 people on top of their 4 or 5. That's
right.
like, whoa, cool. I have a group of people to play for now, and that's
Yeah,
that's what I want to do every time. Is I don't want to rate up. I want to rate down, and I want to share what I've gotten to have with
mhm.
everybody else.
Yeah, and like obviously, like for me, if I was going to rate up, it's because I want to sort of like show respect, to
Yeah.
people that helped me. But
Hmm.
for the most part, I'm definitely more interested in rating down.
Yeah.
That's how you find people, like No Springer says before COVID, that's how they found drum and bass on Twitch. Who is nobody watching? it's going to be the drum and bass DJs.
Yeah.
But like, and you just never know who you're going to be exposed to all of a sudden and go, where the heck have they been? Like,
Yeah.
how have I not heard of them sooner? But yeah, speaking of raids, this is again 4 months doing this. I'm still not great at this. Okay, who do we got here? So Distinct just went on, but I did raid her recently. So
Well, on that tip, I actually noticed that a couple of my friends went on that I like to
oh
raid
yeah,
into.
yeah, who?
Sleazy Listening.
Yes, let's do that. You know what? I've been wanting to watch them. Yeah, absolutely. Sleazy Listening is where we're gonna go.
No.
Guys, I'm super excited because, well, no, first of all, before we do this, thank you so much for being here, Chris. I really, really, really enjoyed talking to you, and I
I can't
appreciate
believe
your
how
time.
fast it went. I feel
I
like we
know,
just
right?
started talking.
2 hours sounds really fast or really long, and then you do it, and it's like, holy shit!
No.
Like, where did it go?
No.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Next week, so this Saturday, no stream. I'm actually going out in the real world to see a movie with my friends, and I'm super excited about it.
Wow.
So I know, right? um, but next Tuesday, the 13th, our boy in the chat, E-Town Junglist, is going to be here. So I'm super excited for that.
Awesome.
I have requested that MC Ernie make an appearance, and who knows who else might show up. We just never know. Thank all of you guys in the audience for being here. I appreciate that. Your comments are so sweet and really mean a lot. I'm like, I love doing this. For me, I have a great time. But if my guest has a great time and you guys have a great time, that's even better. So
I just want to say I think you do such a great job of this. You might not think it, but you have a great way of just disarming people and making them feel so comfortable, and that's such a huge talent in an interviewer, just the person to talk to.
yeah. Well,
So
I mean, like,
thank you.
I want it to feel like we're hanging out, right? And so, it's like, this is my house. This should be a safe place, right? Where, people are comfortable. So, yeah. Um, Clint will be here, E-Town Junglist, on Tuesday.
Awesome.
On the 20th, I am doing a special episode, pre-birthday stream. 27th is my birthday. So pre-birthday stream, we're going to talk about mental health and why I chose these two charities for my fundraising for my birthday. DJ Justin Neal is going to join me. It's going to be a really good talk. It is a really important topic. And so I really hope that you guys can be there. Again, thank you everybody for the subs, for the cheers. You're all awesome. All of that money is going to a good cause, and that makes me super happy. So let's get this raid going. If I can remember how to do it. My stream always wants to like freak out and act weird at this time. Sleazy Listening.
Big ups to all the listeners out there. Darth,
Yes.
love, nothing but love for you. E-Town, every time.
Yeah.
No use for anger. One of my favorite guys on Twitch.
Yes. Bug
Big
out.
up,
Thank you for
bug
the
out.
cheer.
Yeah. Big ups, everybody.
Yeah.
This is just too rad to me.
I'm telling you, this group of people, right? Like,
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, guys, we're out. Have a great week. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. We're all having a hard time right now, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it together.